Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Happy Friday, everybody. How's everybody doing? You excited for Friday? I thought so. What's up, everybody? How you doing? You lost to a girl. Happy Friday. Diamond Ring Girl, how you doing? Under the Mystic Moon. Sadie's mama, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. The classic one. Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Come on in, relax, grab something to drink, get yourself a snack, whatever you gotta do. Come on in, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. All right, now we do a lot of gifting over here, so hopefully some of y'all can get a gifted membership today. We do the 420 memberships daily. Well, Foxy does that anyway. She also does the Foxy boxes, and it looks like Abby Poodle got the Foxy box. Hope you like it. A lot of them are going out there. So, what's up, everybody? Rachel, member for 9 months. Happy Friday. Good to see you. Driving home, alias D. Hernandez says, what's up, family? Now, speaking of family, guys, this cold case in my family was brought to my attention. This is actually a cold case in the family that just had an update today. The kidnapping and, well, the murder of 6-year-old Rosie Tapia. All right. Now, her mom is the biggest advocate for her. As I've been digging into this case, my goodness, her mom just I want to give her a big giant hug if I could. Lewine, oh man, I just want to give you a hug. Now, let me tell you real quick, guys. Quickly. Cold case in the family. It's not such a cold case anymore. As a matter of fact, I reached out to the mom, Lewine, and this case was sent to me by my aunt. All right. My aunt, I'm not going to give all the details of my family because I don't want people digging in, and there's just no reason. But love my family. I've got a lot of family all over the United States. Some of them are from Colorado, some from California, all over the place. So thank you to my aunt. You know who you are, who's also my Nina, by the way. She baptized me. So thank you for bringing this case to me. And Lewine, if I could just give you a big old hug, man. You've been fighting for the last 30 years to bring justice for little Rosie Tapia. So look at, guys, listen here. I mean, 30 years unsolved homicide. And not just that, her life was not only taken way too soon, but she was also SA'd as well, guys. This case is just, I mean, we're going to go through it. I'm also going to tell you how this is the case. This case is so similar to that of Polly Class. All right. So this just reminds me of the Polly Class case. This is the case that happened after Polly Class. She was taken right out of her bedroom, right under the nose of her mom and her family. And I got to tell you, man, her mom, man, Lewine, oh God, I just want to give you a hug and just I so sorry that this happened, and sorry that this happened to somebody in the family, right? So of course I'm going to do this for the family. I don't normally do 30-year-old cases, but this has to have something to it. There's got to be something. The private eye is still working on this case, and you're going to see after all these years that private eye and this family, you're going to see how they aged over the years going through, yeah, this heartbreaking case. All right. I mean, this is just, and this is not a case that you would say that you would ever blame it on the parents. This is not one of those cases. This is not a case that you would say, oh my God, look at the mom. She didn't react. She's not talking. She's running. No, this mom has dedicated the last 30 years to finding the killer of her baby, and possibly two. There's multiple sketches that have come out over the years, guys. And if you know the Polly Class case, Richard, not, I was going to say Richard Allen, but there a Polly Class case that was solved, and the person that was solved, that it was actually Richard, it was Richard Allen, but Richard Allen Davis, that was later named as the perpetrator. All right. In a large scale investigation, Polly Klaas was taken right from her room in 1993, October 1st. Now, Rosie Tapia was taken from Salt Lake City, Utah on August 13th, 1995. All right. So we're going to get into it. I just want you guys to come on, roll on in. Mom, good to see you here. Love you. Aunt Sylvia, if you're watching this, I love you. Lewine, oh my God, I just so much love to you and your family for all that you've done and suffering that's happened. I imagine 6 years old, 30 years later, they're still working on the case, and there's $100,000 reward for anybody that has information that will lead to this monster that did this. Now, years ago, somebody left a Barbie doll on her grave, and they used that to get any evidence, DNA, fingerprints in the case. Somebody left a Barbie doll on her grave, and it's a potential suspect, right? Deanna J, this happened 6 miles away from my home, and this didn't happen close to my home, but it happened close to my family. And this is something that just doesn't go away. All right, it's so similar to the Polly Klaas case, and it's so scary and creepy because, guys, who just feels comfortable in their house at night sleeping with their kids in the other room? We all do. We all do. We all feel comfortable that way. But after reading this case, I got to tell you guys, baby guilty slept in my room last night. Baby guilty. As I wrapped her birthday presents, I made sure baby guilty was right there snoring away where I can see her. Okay. Because this case I was digging into yesterday, and I didn't have the heart to put her in her own room after what I read. And you'll understand why as I get into this. So come on in, guys, hit that like button. And we've got a goal for today. Thank you. Much love always. Rosie, good to see you. Barbie G. Yeah, researching this case broke your heart. It broke mine even more after I reached out to the mom, Lewine, that told me she was going to be meeting with the private eye this morning, and he would be interested in talking to us. So she on her word, I have an interview from him and talking about possibly new information in the case. All right. So what's up, everybody? Good to see you. How you doing? Big hugs to everybody. Hug your family, hold your children tight, and those you love, spend time with them, because you just never know. This is not something that could have ever been predicted. All right, not Clementine, good to see you. Bree, Kel, much love to everybody, and Mom, love you. I'll FaceTime you tomorrow for baby guilty's birthday party. All right, so let me just kind of get into this now that you guys are here. Let me just give you the just 1,000-foot overview of this case, and then we'll get into everything as we do. Salt Lake City, Utah. Go back August 13th, 1995. 6-year-old Rosie Tapia was kidnapped, essayed, and her body was found floating in a canal next to where the family lived. Over 30 years later, her murder remains unsolved, and her mother is still left without answers, and the PI, and the family, and Rosie's sister, and everybody connected to this case. But Lewine Tapia, Rosie's mother, says never give up hope, because one day we'll get justice, and time's running out. Time's running out for her mom and the people that are involved in this case. All right. So, I mean, this was Salt Lake City apartment. It was an apartment in Salt Lake City pre-dawn hours. As a matter of fact, Lewine checked on her daughter at 2 a.m. and everything was good. I believe up until 2 a.m. I'll get to that. But around 2 a.m., pre-dawn hours, August 13, 1995, her body went missing, then found later that morning in an irrigation canal near Redwood Road and California Drive in Salt Lake City, Utah. So if any of you guys are local to that case, yeah, say a prayer for the family, which everybody, you'll meet the family right now as we get through this case. Kel, thank you for being a member and supporting Guilty of Crime for 3 months. Man, all right. So again, it reminds me a lot of this case. Very similar. Polly Klaas was taken 2 years earlier out of her bedroom, and that was almost an heard of case that a child was abducted right from their room, right under their nose. Now that's Rose right next to me, and that's Polly Klaas. That doesn't have anything to do with the case other than the circumstances, which I find eerily similar. All right, eerily similar. So let me just tell you, key people in this case, obviously Rosie, age 6, mom Lewine. Rosie's mother reported discovering her missing from her bedroom earlier the same day. Investigators handling this as a homicide case and cold case reviews. Over the years, you'll see how this unfolds. I just want to tell you a little bit about what happened, and then we'll get into it. Rosie and her 4-year-old sister both were sleeping in that bedroom that night, guys. Both of them. Both of them were in an apartment in the bedroom, sound asleep. Okay, and their mom checked on them at 2 a.m. and they were both asleep at 2 a.m. Now go in there 3 hours and 45 minutes later, and Rosie was missing from her bedroom window. The screen had been removed and the curtain was on the floor, prompting immediate notification of police and search and rescue. Right that morning, August 13, 1995, after an exhaustive search, Rosie's body was recovered in an irrigation canal near Redwood Road and California Drive in Salt Lake City. Now, 1995 to 2000s, we're going over to years. Homicide remained unsolved. Early investigation efforts, public details, and suspects were limited. No arrests made. Now, 2018 comes along, and legislation known as Rosie's Law required Utah law enforcement to share information about the unsolved missing person case statewide. Now, Rosie's family attended related events and continued the public appeal, which you'll see. And then we fast forward from 2019 to 2025, and the family still continues pushing for answers. As of today, we're going to listen to the PI talk about possibly renewed efforts in this case that they can't really talk about. Now, August 2025, now just months ago, the public has renewed appeal to the information in the kidnapping and the murder of little Rosie, offering a reward $100,000 to help identify those 2 sketches that you see on my screen and are going to see in a bit. All right. Up until a month ago, there's renewed efforts in this case. All right. There's a lot of details in this case, guys, and I want to make sure that I come across properly and we don't go too long where, people kind of run in, run out. So do me a favor, hit that like button. Also, Indie Isham just started that choo-choo trade. Choo-choo. $4.99. Thanks for all you do, Jay, and your superior mods. I agree. My mods are definitely superior, and I dare to say best mods on YouTube. All right. If you look in chat and you see those mods, they work hard to not only man the chat to make sure you guys are safe in chat, but also to give you guys things that people can't afford. Foxy boxes, they have all kinds of cool stuff that you can use: mugs, cups, t-shirts, and fun things. All right, Kathy D, it's absolutely wild. But listen, it's wild that we had an update just today. And just yesterday, I spoke with the mom via text message, which is part of my my outer family. Okay, this is family, cold case in the family, and that's why we're here today, especially for the family. You know how I am with the family. You guys know my family is number one, period. Everything comes family first and then everything else. All right, not even work. Work doesn't come first. My family comes first. Thank you, Deborah Brush, for being here. And you guys thank the mods for everything they do. We've got lots of new merch, and we've got Foxy Box giveaways when you buy other merch from our Guilty of Crime store. So although you can't buy a Foxy Box, you could certainly get one by purchasing off of Guilty of Crime, which, by the way, the merchandise is fantastic and it's not that much, right? 100% family first. Everybody knows that. When baby Guilty was born, I didn't work that much. I took a lot of days off in the week to spend the first 6 to 9 months. And then after that, for the first year, I took off 3 days in a row every week to make sure I was with baby Guilty. She would come into the office with me. I mean, it's just family. And I have a son that's going to be 26 on Sunday that I also raised. So guys, two children, my wife, 20 years, my mom, very, very close with my family. I hope you guys know that about me. And Guilty of Crime crew, you guys are my extended family here. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel and me as we get up into the 30,000 subscribers, which we're very close to, by the way. So let's get to 30,000 subs, and then I'll give you guys some. I'll do a big giveaway at 30,000 subscribers. I'll give something away myself. All right. Maybe I'll give you guys a book to know a little bit more about me and some other stuff. But happy Friday. Let's get into it even further. All right, guys. I'm going to first start with Facebook real quick. And the mother of Rosie Tapia, girl, was found dead in Salt Lake City 30 years ago in a canal, and get up to speed. And then we're going to move backwards just a little bit. You know how I story tell around here, right? You guys are used to how I give the information on this channel. And I hope because you're here, you like it. So let's just start with this right out off the bat. All right. Let's turn that volume up.
Mackenzie Diaz live tonight with details on the latest here. Mackenzie, bring us up to speed here. What can you tell us?
Thank you, guys.
Brian, Sarah, detectives say that this could be key information in this 30-year-old case. Officials saying that these two men are believed to have more information or have something to do with the murder and the kidnapping of Rosie Tapia. And tonight, we speak with her mother.
6-year-old Rosie Tapia.
Her mom is everywhere. I have not seen a mom that's this invested personally in a really, really long time, guys. This is not one of those cases ever that you would blame the parents, I assure you. And you'll see what I'm saying right now.
Long black hair, big brown eyes. She was a very special person.
Her mom, Lewine Tapia, says she didn't make it to the first grade.
Now, when you guys look at this case over the years, you can see how these people have been in the spotlight. And then obviously we age, our health declines. Right? A lot of things happen when something like this happens in the family. And it's so sad to see this.
Rosie was kidnapped from her bedroom 30 years ago, taken to the Jordan River Canal, sexually assaulted and murdered.
I would like to see this person eye to eye and ask him why he did it. And what made him come through the window and take her away from us that night.
The night before Rosie was killed, her late older sister was babysitting. A witness says they saw two teenage boys between 16 and 20.
And that kills me too, to think that two 16-year-old or 16, 17-year-old boys would have done that to her and have been running around having probably families for the last 30 years, right? Like the Natalie Holloway case, that mom did everything for her daughter. I agree. Thank you for bringing that to the attention as well.
Visiting the apartment, unknown to Rosie's parents. 30 years later, investigators believe those boys have ties to the 21st Street Gang and may have more information about her murder.
I feel kind of mad because it should have came out a long time ago.
Detective Michael Ruff explains how new information can come out years later.
We don't consider them to be cold cases because we keep working on them. We have a different detective that'll take a look at it. They rotate those through. As we get new people in the unit that replace other people, we'll have them take a fresh set of eyes at them.
Rosie's family looking for closure.
And you guys are going to see all these people age in the videos. It's wild to see somebody continuously. This private eye guy is dedicated. This private eye, when we meet him, this guy is so dedicated. I don't even realize how dedicated these people are to this beautiful little girl, Rosie, that didn't make it past 6.
They say is long overdue.
It take a real big burden off of me, knowing that we finally got the person who did it, and we're going to make them pay for it.
And today, police say these boys would be between the ages of 40 and 50 years old. Police say if you have any more information, to call the number on the screen. Reporting in Salt Lake City, Mackenzie Diaz, ABC4 News.
All right. There's a lot of information out on Facebook, and the families just are everywhere. So I'm going to get into that, introduce you a little bit, and then we'll take a little trip backwards. Happy Friday, everybody. Much love to everybody. Thank you so much. Good to see you, Chief Rocca. Always a pleasure. Pam, this case was crazy as heck, and it still is. Just today, there was an update in the case with the private eye and mother, Lewine. All right, meeting with him, which I haven't quite got all that information from her, but I do have a clip of the private eye after all these years still doing what he should, what other people should be doing. Mighty Joe, hey Jay, coming in late, good to see you. Better late than never. Let me share this with you, this article. Utah cold cases, murder of 6-year-old Rosie Tapia remains unsolved after 30 years. All right, but there's a lot to get into, and I want to present this properly so that we can get it out there. All right, so this article here comes from ABC4 in Utah, and like I said earlier, 1995, August 13th, she was found kidnapped, and then essayed, and then ultimately deceased in a Salt Lake City canal. This also reminds me of the recent Texas case where I can't remember her name. You guys can fill me in. She went to 7-Eleven to get a snack. 2 men took her, kidnapped, brutally raped her, and then took her life. I'll remember her name in a bit, but I covered that case. And thank you, Foxy. Foxy's driving, but she did stop to gift a membership. So please thank Foxy for that. All right. All right. So again, this is an update from August 2025 after 30 years. It's not such a cold case because they're still looking into some of the leads. All right. We kind of talked about how mom went into the room at 2 a.m. 2 children were there. After the 2 children were there, about 3 hours and 45 minutes later, it was discovered that the window was open, the screen was cut, and Rosie was gone, but her sister was still there, right? Police were notified immediately, and they later found her floating in a canal. The autopsy report revealed that she had been essayed, and guys, she actually passed away by drowning, right? The autopsy said that she had drowned. So she was kidnapped, essayed, and then she drowned in the water where they found her. So they probably did what they did and then threw her in the water, which means that there was water in her lungs from the drowning. Okay. And again, the trigger warning. Thank you, Shadow. Jocelyn Nungrai, same thing, similar thing. She snuck out to go get some snacks, and 2 men snatched her up and brutally did things to her that we don't even want to talk about right now. We'll focus on the boo thing. All right, boo. Halloween's coming, y'all. Halloween's coming. Just remind myself of that. All right, so autopsy revealed essay and drowning. All right, now 30 years later, it's still unsolved, but SLCPD is seeking any information that may help to solve Rosie's murder. Her mother hasn't give up hope. You'll see, and she believes her daughter's killer or killers will be found. She says, I know there's people out there that have information and knows what's happened to my Rosie, but they're just not coming forward. But maybe the $100,000 reward will prompt somebody to come forward in this case. All right. So let's spread this case, hit that like button, and then share with your community. If you have a true crime channel or a Facebook channel or what have you, please share this case now and when we're done, because this means a lot to this family, to my family. All right. This case was brought to me by my family. Now, Rosie's family also gave a $100,000 reward for information that will help solve Rosie's murder. Lewine is her mother. She says, I want them to know there's still that cash reward for any information in Rosie's case. Any information, please call Salt Lake City Police Department, 801-799-3455. You can reference case number 1995-119190. I'll leave that up there for a second. All right. Or just call any law enforcement that you can, and let's try to get something going in the case. Now, we talked about this quite a bit, this case, what happened that day, but in the case history, I'll leave that number up for a second. In November 2002, guys, somebody left a rock on Rosie's grave with a note written on it. The identity of the person who left the note is still unknown and hasn't released information on what the note says. Now they're asking for that person to come forward. They can remain anonymous at that time. All right. Now, March of 2019, they also released additional information on Rosie's case in a true crime show called On the Case on Investigation Discovery. All right. In the episode, Salt Lake City detectives confirmed that they collected DNA from under Rosie's fingernails, and they sent that DNA to a genetic testing laboratory. They also said that they have over 60 DNA samples from potential people of interest in the episode. Now, additionally, look down there. There's one of the sketches, guys. Remember, we talked about possibly being two young men at the time that were 16 and 17 that would now be 46 and 47, which is my age. I'm 46 years old. That's how old these people would be now, walking around with a family, with children. There's a doll too, guy. I'm not there yet, Synth. We're only 26 minutes in. There also was a doll, a Barbie doll, left at the graveyard 6 years ago, but we're going through time. We're taking a stroll through time. All right. So just bear with me here. And if you guys need to ask questions, you can ask questions amongst yourself in chat. If you need me, QQQ. But let me just talk a little more about what happened before we jump ahead, or you can just talk amongst yourself. Now, additionally, a witness claimed to have seen a young man walking away from the canal where Rosie's body was found, dripping wet pants. In 1995, he told the SLCPD what he saw, but they did not create a sketch. Now, in March of 2019, ABC4 helped facilitate a meeting between that witness and a professional sketch artist, and there you go, which I'm going to show you a little bit more, but right now you can see that. Now, the sketch composite, whose release has been authorized by SLCPD, is pictured above. So anyone that has information about this person, they're asked to contact Salt Lake City Police or Utah Cold Case Coalition, which they're offering a $3,000 reward for that information. All right, we got a lot in this lot today, but yeah, there was a Barbie doll earlier on. I was looking at that portion of it, of the case where there's a rock and then a Barbie doll. Was it somebody that did something? Irene Vasquez, hello. You say my son hanged around Rosie at the time we lived above them. My son and Rosie went to school together. We were investigated. My heart goes out to this family. Thank you so much, Irene, for dropping that in chat. And my heart goes out to the family and my family and everybody that's affected in this case. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, man. This just, all right. So what we're going to do is, we're going to go through a little bit more of Facebook, and some timelines, and then bring it back a little bit more. I mean, there's a lot of 30 years worth of information and tips and etc. in this case. All right. So a lot of information. Let's go on to the mom's. Let's go on to Lewine's page real quick on her Facebook page. And that way I can share the private eyes video from today. All right. I can't imagine this happened to one of my family or friends. Absolutely. It just it happens every day, guys. And it shows you that it does. It happens every day, all the time. All right. So this is mom, Lewine Tapia. This is her Facebook page. And everything on it is pretty much about her daughter or her family, right? She's got raffle alert. This is a fundraiser she's doing. But when you look here, you know, August 26th was the 30-year mark where Lewine shared Nate Eaton. That's awesome. I'm glad. Now, Nate Eaton is in that area, and I'm glad he reported on this. You can see here that at the 30-year mark, I love that Nate does that. All right. Nate Eaton shared this. Let's see if make sure you guys can see this. This is awesome. You guys know Nate from the Lori Vallow case. Where are the children? Where are the children? That is the Nate. That's Nate Eaton. All right. Sweet young baby that didn't make it past the age of 6. So Lewine's and the family's asking to share this 30 years. This was in August. Nate shared this, Nate Eaton, which you guys all know, and it talks about a 30-year-old abduction. Despite numerous leads, there's still Utah Cold Case Coalition still has not arrested anyone. We're going to get back into that later on today. All right. So now let's take a look at this private eye, and you'll also see him aging throughout the case. This was him 5 hours ago. This guy's name is Jason K. Jensen, and he is the PI that Lewine, Rosie's mom, that was talking to me yesterday, told me she was going to meet with today. All right, so he has justice for Rosie here, and let me play the video as he came out. Again, you'll see him aging over the time as well, because it's been 30 years. All right, there's him. He's investigating. He went from Seattle, it looks like, to Salt Lake City to meet with the police that are actively working this case. And he feels confident with their efforts that we'll get justice for Rosie. Let's listen in now. All right.
Good morning. I just left the Salt Lake City Police Department where there was an update given to Lewine Tapia on her daughter's case, the unsolved murder of Rosie Tapia. I'm pleased to report that they're very serious on the case and working hard to get justice for Rosie. Good morning.
I'll just leave that up for a second. I'll probably play it one more time. That makes me happy. And Rosie's sister is here. Welcome. I don't know your name because I hadn't talked to you, but I did ask your mom to be here. I also asked Aunt Sylvia, my mom, Mama Pearl. So anybody that's in the family, welcome. Big mad prayers that these new leads spark up this investigation and we find these people that this in the sketches. All right. Okay. Angelica Tapia. Thank you everyone for wanting justice for my sister Rosie. Absolutely. I couldn't imagine covering any other case. All right. So mad prayers to you, Angelica. Big hugs from me to you and from my family to your family. All right. You are family. You are my extended family. And I'm so glad that I'm able to cover this case for you and the family. So, welcome and prayers. I mean, we're all love here. We're all love and we're all about the families and the victims in the case. So let me put this on one more time. This makes me happy that this private eye is getting information and new leads in the case, that he is confident that the recent efforts may get justice for Rosie after all these years.
Good morning. I just left the Salt Lake City Police Department where there was an update given to Lewine Tapia on her daughter's case, the unsolved murder of Rosie Tapia. I'm pleased to report that they're very serious on the case and working hard to get justice for Rosie. Good morning.
Sorry, guys.
I just left the Salt Lake City Police Department.
All right. That's really awesome. I'm so glad that happened today. Just like Lewine said, just straight to the point, just amazing. And Mary Beth, good to see you, my friend. Big hugs. Don't forget to hit that like button and get this in the algorithm so more people can see this. My mom says, and this is Pearl Angelica. That's my mom, Aunt Sylvia's sister. Angelica, prayers that they get justice for your precious sister. And Angelica, I do have you in some of the news clips today. I'm sure you're okay with me using those, as I know you want to get the word out and you've been on platforms looking to find a solution and a resolution to this case. All right. Shorty Pie, he seems to be very, 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 very dedicated. I added in the very, very, very. You'll see that as we go back 30 years and you see him right at the forefront of this case, which, man, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing to have that kind of dedicated effort in this case. All right, so now we're going to get into the composite sketches, and if it doesn't talk about the Barbie doll, I will bring that up. We've got an episode packed full of information today, and you guys might be getting a quiz at the end of the show, so stay here, stay tuned, and please, we are here to help. Anything that we can do to help this case move along. All right, that's the whole point of this. And, well, family is very important and number one to me. All right, it comes before anything. Family's first. Anything else,
it's a composite of a
anything else we'll figure out. If as long as you have family, you're okay. All right, let's go. Let's talk about the composite sketch and see what they say.
Suspect in the 1995 murder of Rosie Tapia. She was only 6 years old when she was kidnapped from her home. Her body found floating in a nearby canal in Salt Lake City.
It was in March. ABC4 told you about this composite first, but held back showing it until police had a chance to review it first. Behind every crime, there's a story, and the truth matters.
Here's ABC4's senior crime and punishment correspondent Marco Surtees with the Justice Files.
In March, ABC4 brought together a professional sketch artist and a new witness to Rosie Tapia's murder in 1995. Also in the room was Rosie's mother and father, along with their private investigator. The composite.
Such dedication in this case. My goodness. Everybody just send a prayer and chat. Throw some prayer hands for Angelica and for Lewine and for the entire family, all right?
Has never been shown publicly until today.
The image just always stuck in my brain because every year she was on TV and it reminded me of it.
The witness, who doesn't want to be identified, was there when Salt Lake City police removed Rosie Tapia's body from a canal near Redwood Road in 1700 South. The 6-year-old disappeared late that night, leading to a frantic search. The next day, her family learned Rosie had been sexually assaulted and drowned. In January, ABC4 caught up with a witness who claims a young man whose pants were wet walked by him in the early hours after Rosie's disappearance. He claims he told Salt Lake City police of that person, but says no one helped him put together a...
Again, guys, those people, those monsters that did that, whoever did that to little Rosie is a monster, in my opinion, and I want you to realize that they're not that old to serve their time and be ripped away from their family the way they ripped Rosie away from hers. All right. They would only be 46 and 47 now. All right. So let's get justice for little Rosie and send love to the PI and to the family. Thank you guys. And welcome. Thank you all. All right. Anybody that's family here in chat, let me know if you want me to shout you out or say hello or just let me know about the case. All right. They're never too old, but right now they would be ripped away like they did to little Rosie.
Sketch. That is, until March, when a national sketch artist saw ABC4's original story and volunteered to build a composite. For nearly 2 hours, they worked together, drawing and erasing eyes, cheekbones, hair. Finally, it was done.
Like I said, I'd say that's around an 8 out of 10. So it is. It's really close, you know. And I don't know how we could do any better than that, to be honest with you.
Also watching were Rosie's parents and their private investigator. She's anxious to get the composite out in the public.
I am.
And again, that's her mom, Lewine. We fast forwarded. We went to the future, to today, to now. This is in the past, and you can see that she's there, and age and health and stress and everything else has taken a toll. It takes a toll on all of us. And yeah, I just saw the Cherry Mahan 40-year-old case. I just saw that yesterday. Someone was covering it. So yeah, kudos to anybody that's covering these cold cases like that. Hello, One Love. How you doing?
Because hopefully somebody will come forward and identify this person.
The composite is of a young man back in 1995. That's nearly 24 years ago.
I think it takes it into a bold new direction where we can look for somebody that matches the description from old yearbooks, We can check with old witnesses that used to live in the apartment community and see if they recognize the individual.
The witness says that encounter with a young man in 1995 never left his memory. And it was all because Rosie's mom never let the public forget about her daughter.
It's just always bothered me.
She certainly did not. And I don't want you guys to forget about little Rosie either. And especially, you just saw that PI in that news clip, and you're going to see him in all the other things. You're going to see how he also has dedicated himself and aged along with everybody else in this search for these monsters, right? They're one or two. What's up, Royal Bitch X? How you doing? And Barbie G, sending her love, Lady for Justice. And we do have 160 people in here. If you guys would just hit that like button, you might not like what I'm talking about, but hopefully you like the way that I present the case and the cases that I present.
That the police department 23 years ago didn't want to help me to do this before.
Salt Lake City Police did not respond to our request for comment on this composite. For a better look of this image, visit our website, abc4.com, and click on this story. For the job.
All right, we're going to do that all for you. So let's get to the next part. I want to talk about that Barbie doll real quick in the case. And it'll probably come up again. It probably will, just because there's not that many pieces of evidence, but that's one of them, right? Barbie doll left on grave of 6-year-old grape and capital M victim should shed new light on a cold case. Now, this was back in 2019 that happened. So that's also potential evidence, all right? Bree says, I have a cousin that went missing in 73. They never found her. What happened? Yeah, that's so sad. They are. Someone has to know these people are people. I agree, mates. I agree. All right. Absolutely. All right, guys. Let me get into let's talk about the Barbie. 2019, Salt Lake City. Who left a Barbie doll on Rosie Tapia's grave? That was the question on Thursday at a press conference held by Utah Cold Case Coalition 23 years after this case happened. They still don't know the answer, but continue to ask for help. And again, Lewine is everywhere. She says, I'm hoping the Lord will let me live until we find the person who took my daughter. All right, that's Rosie's mother. Rosie, 6 years old, then was kidnapped, we know, taken, essayed, and then put into the canal of the Jordan River. That was ultimately what took her life, was the drowning. Her mom says she was a happy child. She always had a smile on her face. She would have been 30 years old on Thursday in 2019. So now she'd be 36. Instead, she rests in a grave in Salt Lake City. This is where her mom says she found a Barbie doll. After Rosie's passing, there were items that were left on her grave site, she says, and so she gathered them up and took them home. But 23 years later, they say the factors that have led them to believe the doll may be a valuable clue. They say 2 possible persons of interest have been identified who have had fixation with Barbies. It's a sweetheart Barbie that was manufactured in 1994. And this is coming from Jason Jensen, the private eye that you guys saw a little while ago. It's right there, a sweetheart Barbie, 1994. And that may play a part in this case. All right. So police say that they're using cutting edge DNA extraction method on the doll. But remember, they have to have a suspect, or that suspect has to have a criminal history for the DNA analysis to be able to run through the system and find who it would be. All right. So again, Coalition says DNA analysis is expensive for a nonprofit, but I'm sure by now they've got it. They've asked the public for help back then, and they're still asking for help now. Right. Any clues? This is the easy one. It says Utah Cold Case 385 clue. All right. I'm sure anybody, we can probably reach out to about anybody that would know about this case. All right. On to the next part. And again, guys, this again reminds me of the Polly Klaas case. I just want to tell you some quick similarities that brought me to that conclusion. All right. Ultimately, let me take a look at. I wrote down some things about what happened in the case, and both cases show the vulnerability of children in their own homes and the critical value of eyewitness accounts, forensic evidence, and sustained public attention from you guys in resolving abductions. Now, Polly Klaas's case demonstrates how decisive forensic links and massive public engagement can lead to an arrest, while Rosie's case still illustrates how, even with the indicators to the forced entry, all right, missing or inconclusive forensic links and limited national attention can leave a case unresolved. But this case is similar because Polly Klaas was also taken from her window at night, right? They were having a sleepover, but that happened in 1993 and this happened in 1995. Polly Klaas was abducted by an intruder who entered the home during a sleepover. That's Richard Allen Davis, later identified, and he received the death sentence. Rosie Tapia, investigators released descriptions, and she was also taken from her bedroom while she was sleeping. No arrests have been made in that case, but the similarities in this case are kind of eerily similar, in my opinion, and the research that I've been doing about this case. All right, so come on in. What's up? Good to see you, Michael Bass. Good to see you, my friend. How you doing? Much love. Yeah, you guys just tonight and every night hug your children, say, give them a little extra love, and make sure those windows are locked. This is not the day and age any longer that we can leave a window open or a door or anything. Put a little lock on your window. Those, not little, those big locks where you can open it like this much but you can't open it. Do that. Get your security, get your cameras, get your alarms, whatever you got to do. Be safe, because this is not the day and age that we used to live to in the 90s even. All right, there's just, man, this case. All right, we're going to go in depth on this and with Private Eye, and also this Salt Lake City. They're doing the in-depth, same team on the case. So let's get into that so that we can go backwards next and meet the family and see everything that happened in the case. All right, I just want to make sure that this case gets the attention that it deserves, and especially with the new information that we don't know about yet, but it's come to light from what the Private Eye has said to us. Of course, they're not going to tell us, right? Mr. Klaas never gave up on his daughter. Absolutely. Dawn, Grandma 3, happy birthday. Baby Guilties and my son's birthday's next week, with birthday parties tomorrow. We're doing birthday parties. Normally for the kid's birthday, since it's at Halloween, we usually either have a party and then Mama J gets tired. And after Mama J's tired, by next year, I say, I'm not having any party. Let's go to Universal, or let's go to Disneyland, or let's go anywhere but at home with having a birthday party. So wish me luck tomorrow, guys. All right. Let's get into it, guys. Come on in. If you just rolled in, don't worry. We're going to go over this and we're going to go backwards. Hit that like button. Let's get to the goal. I think we're a few away from the goal. That'd be awesome if you have the means to get a membership, gift a membership, super chat, super sticker, what have you, as well. Appreciated. And we'll go back into the channel and also be donated to you guys for whatever we give away. All right, let's go. Let's talk about the crime scene and the Private Eye. Let's hear more from him. Super
here on KMYU and KJazz. It's great to have you here. I mean, this case is 29 years in the making. Rosie was reported missing the early hours of August 13th. That would be today, but 1995. So 29 years ago, later found dead in a surplus canal. If you saw the video I put out on social media today, it was over my shoulder in one of those clips. What's interesting is this case remains unsolved. It is cold, but you've been involved for what, about 8 years now?
Yes,
Happy birthday.
As of January 2016, I've been on the case. I offered my services to the Tapia family pro bono and been on the case ever since.
So for those who aren't familiar with Rosie's really situation, the disappearance, the murder, can you bring everyone up to speed?
I didn't even know it was pro bono. So wow, big mad love to this guy and prayers to this private eye that has just been so dedicated. Thank you, Barbie G. I'll leave that up there in hopes that we can get a choo choo. What that means, guys, is somebody else. So we'll leave it up, see who can get on the choo choo train and get us to that goal. So thank you guys for all the happy birthdays, etc. Guys, wow. Yeah, we want more exposure. You're right, Lady for Justice, Court TV, Vinnie Paulton, anybody that can help get this case out there would be great.
Speed on really what unfolded that day 29 years ago.
Sure. This case I am affectionately tied to. It's very personal to me. I view this as our version of a John Benet Ramsey case.
Oh, there you go.
A little bit older, and it's very dear that we want this solved. The Tapia family has become like family to me, and so we want answers for them. It's a very sad beginning. Just a little 6-year-old. She was home in bed, just in slumber with the family.
So cute.
Next thing you know, between 3.
She's so cute, guys. Look at that little scrunchy face. And mom's right. Lewine's right. Nothing but smiles, guys. Smiles. Oh my goodness. Thank you, mama. Thank you for the $9.99 super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you. And Michael, my boy, thank you also. Choo choo. That's what we'll do. All right. Thank you, guys. Seriously. Oh my God, she's so cute, Mom. You know what? I hate to say this, but doesn't she remind you, when you guys won't think of this because you don't know what I look like as a baby, but my mom has little pictures of me up. Of course, Mama Pro has pictures of me and my brother and I with that kind of haircut and being out in the sun all day. Mom, does she not remind you of me when I was little? Tell me she doesn't. All right, let's keep going. Again, this is all in the family, but if you saw baby pictures, little kid pictures, I looked like that. I was brown from being outside all the time and just ready to roar, ripping to roar all the time. So God bless my mom for being able to raise me, a Spitfire. Thank you, Mom, for doing such a good job. All right, let's go.
Being 5 o'clock in the morning, somebody breaks in and
It does,
the
right?
window of their apartment in her bedroom and snatches her, and they find her around 8 o'clock the next morning. So Lewine came in about 5 a.m. That's Lewine is Rosie's mother. Came in and checked on the kids about 5 a.m. and noticed the curtains were down, the window was ajar, and Rosie was in the bed. So all of a sudden the family.
That's a parent's worst nightmare.
Oh, worst nightmare, because you would think that while you are home in bed, that is the most safest, secure place for your family. And
like I said last night, no way. And we've been working on it for years to get baby Guilty into her own bed full time, and she's done it. Right? She's gonna be 11 next week. But last night I just couldn't do it. After researching this case, I could not have her sleep in a room that wasn't within my eye view. So man, you guys, like I said, hug your children and your family and everybody so tight. All right. Lena, love your lives. Thank you. Yeah, my baby Guilty tans like that too. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys pictures anymore, but just imagine.
Someone feels confident, comfortable enough to violate that inner sanctum and steal your kids. Yes. You can't think of a worse scenario than that.
Nope. So what has your involvement been like over the years in terms of this case? What have you worked on?
Over the years, what we have done is an independent investigation. That's my forte as a cold case investigator. I don't really rely on law enforcement and their approach, because they're free to, take the case in any direction that they want. It's my job to develop new leads, and I funnel them over to law enforcement when I come across something. Over the years, what we were able to secure that law enforcement was not, because not everybody wants to talk to police. Not everybody.
And guys, some of the most dedicated people are the private eyes that are working for pro bono, right? People that aren't getting paid, but it's their passion to do so. Thank you, Bree, so much. Yeah, baby Guilty, your mama loves you. I know, right? Ryan Apple Snapple, I always hold hope. Even the Alyssa Turney case or Mikkel Biggs case, 2 local cases to me in Arizona. Thank you, Ryan, for saying that. I agree. And SoCal, great mom, hello to you. Selena Miller, sad story. And you knew, yes, as a matter of fact, today, this private eye came out from meeting with law enforcement, and there are some new leads that he can't exactly tell us about, but if you go back to the beginning of the episode, you'll see that yes, yes, and yes. There's also $100,000 reward for anybody that has any leads that will get to the arrest of one or two of these monsters. All right.
Likes the police. And so many people don't want interactions with law enforcement, whether it's because they just have, that kind of a relationship with them or lack thereof, or if it's, they have warrants or anything that would prevent them from feeling comfortable to talk to the police. Well, in 1998, a witness, a neighbor from the adjacent community, went to law enforcement and said he recognized a teen coming out of the canal, went from the knees down. They tried to get a statement from him. They tried to get a sketch from him, but because of...
Yes, thank you for coming in, Simply Felicity. This is a cold case in the family, right? My aunt put me to this case. This is a family member's daughter, all right? Happened 30 years ago. All right. And there's family in the chat. So send prayers to them. Again, if you go back to the beginning, you'll hear everything that I talked about in the case and how we came to the case and what's happening. So thank you for being here. Thanks to all the new people. Please do hit that like and share with us. Share with your friends. I want to listen to this part about the information that they have. And then, guys, I have an awesome Utah Cold Case Coalition put out an awesome little mini documentary about murders living among us. Who killed Rosie Tapia? And I love it because we get to meet the family and the people so dedicated to this case. And this guy, this private eye, is one of them.
The abrasion that he had with law enforcement, when he felt like they weren't taking him seriously, he left. Fast forward to 2018, we secure him a statement and get a composite sketch and release it. Next thing you know, we get new leads. There were people that came forward saying, hey, the sketch looked like so-and-so, who happened to be a teenager at the time that lived at the apartment complex, the Heartlands, where the Tapias had lived. Since then, we know that in 2018, the situation involving DNA. Law enforcement went on a TV show and revealed to the world that there was a partial DNA profile.
And see, they're not giving up information like that. This is in Salt Lake City, Utah. This happened 30 years ago. And today, this private eye that has been working on the case for 30 years, pro bono, not getting paid a thing, just came out of the law enforcement police office or law enforcement office and has an update in the case from police that are actively working on the case. He feels confident that this case will be solved. So, man, that's good news, right?
What that means for us is it's not a profile they can run through CODIS. It's not a profile that they can do genetic genealogy with. They actually have to find a hard match.
See?
Well, fast forward to the present time, we have good reasons to believe, based on genealogy and ancestry, the ancestral genealogy that is available out there, that we're looking for somebody that either was a Martinez or related to a Martinez. So we're asking the public now, and that's what's great about
a Martinez. Did you hear that, Mom? And family that's in your mom, especially a Martinez.
You and this venue is that the news outlets are great to get the story out, get the message out to the public, where the public can participate. We want to know anybody that lived at the Heartland Apartments or in the adjacent neighborhoods that were named Martinez, so that we can actively try and get DNA samples for this hard match comparison. Yes. That's why I'm here today.
So that would be roughly 17 South and Redwood Road on Salt Lake's west side. That is where those apartments are.
Right.
That canal is right nearby. I just want to read what Salt Lake City Police shared with me today. They said, quote, detectives with the Salt Lake City Police Department continue to investigate this case. If community members have information about this investigation, no matter how small, we encourage them to come forward by calling 801-799-3000. Almost the same statement they gave to us years ago when I look back at our articles. So nothing new from police.
Yeah, it was interesting that today, of all days, that I chose to do this case. Well, I chose to do it last week and I didn't get to it till today. But yesterday I texted Lewine and she's like, yeah, I'm meeting with my private eye tomorrow. I'll let you know what happened. He probably wants to speak. So that is awesome. That gives us renewed hope that something may come of this, right? Yeah, justice for Rosie. I'll leave that up there for a minute. Man.
At least at this point, but you feel relatively certain that that individual, maybe a last name of Martinez, hung around those apartments, maybe lived there. That's the big push here, nearly 3 decades later.
Right. That's exactly what we're pushing for. And we can't say that this guy was necessarily the perpetrator, but at the crime scene. So we think it's either the actor or an associate of the actors, because we don't know
some information many years later.
Right. We don't know if it was one person or a group of people that helped take Rosie out of her bedroom.
How often do you think about this case?
Gosh, it really is something that's on my mind at least a minute or so every day. It's not a day that goes by that I don't think about it, because I'm friends with the Tapias, so I may.
And there it is, guys. There's that canal. Now, I'm glad somebody reminded me about Jocelyn Nungrai. That was similar circumstances where they drug her into a canal in Texas. 2 monsters did that. And, she was just going to 7-Eleven. What we used to do as kids, right? Go to 7-Eleven, get yourself some snacks. No big deal. She wasn't doing anything wrong. In this case, Rosie was just sleeping. They were sleeping at 2 a.m. when her mom went in there to check on her. Both children, Angelica, her sister, and her, were sleeping in bed. Yes, this is a cold case in my family. My aunt called me, and my aunt told me to pick this case up and call Lewine, who is Rosie's mom. Yeah, this is family, and that's why I call it cold case in the family. And I don't do cold cases often on my show because most of my shows are like breaking news that you guys want to hear about, etc. But this is close to my heart, like I was telling you guys yesterday. This is close to my heart and my family.
See one of them post something on social media, I may get a phone call, we may have a conversation, I'll get an invite to a birthday party or a Sunday dinner. It's not unheard of that I go a week without hearing from them.
And just quickly here, we're against the gun on the time frame here, but in terms of—
And there's mom again, and when we fast forward to later, mom is, you can see it's taking a toll. Her health, she's got the breathing tubes. Man, I want to give her a big hug, a virtual big hug. All right, let's keep going because I want you to see little Rosie. There's this documentary that, oh my God, that actually we get to see her and the family and meet them.
The family. I mean, we're 3 decades out from when this took place.
3 decades.
Today, what's their feeling over the last? I think the last time we heard from them really was a few years ago. So it's another anniversary for them where they don't have their daughter.
Right. It's heartbreaking. Every anniversary, every birthday.
Now, listen, this was 30 years ago. I'm going to fast forward real quick to today, just 5 hours ago. So those of you that just came in like right now, I'm going to bring it to this PI today that met with law enforcement, went from Seattle to Salt Lake City to meet with law enforcement and talk about possible new leads just today, guys. So this is just today. I'm going to play that clip one more time, and then we're going to get into the little quick documentary that introduces you to the family and lots of other things. So we're taking it back. We're taking it back. All right, let me what am I doing here? Oh, this went away. All right, hold on. I'm gonna remove this. We've got a lot of new, I don't know if anyone uses StreamYard in here, but StreamYard has a lot of new features. If anybody does use StreamYard, let me know. I have a code that will save you money on StreamYard. It'll give you $10 off or something like that. So let me know if you guys anybody uses StreamYard, any of you creators that are here. All right. There wasn't enough evidence about, okay. You guys are just talking in chat. Prayers. All right. Listen, this was 5 hours ago today. And the private eye that you just saw has a Rosie Tapia update. Police are actively working this case, and we feel confident in their justice for Rosie efforts.
Good morning. I just left the Salt Lake City Police Department where there was an update given to Lewine Tapia on her daughter's case. the unsolved murder of Rosie Tapia. I'm pleased to report that they're very serious on the case and working hard to get justice for Rosie. Good morning. I just left the Salt.
All right, so for those of you that just got here, there's some renewed hope just hours ago today. All right, just hours ago today. Oh my goodness, what's up, Jason Jensen? We were just talking about you. There's Mr. Jason Jensen, the private eye that met with law enforcement day. We were just playing that.
Salt Lake City Police Department, where there was an update given to Lewine Tapia on her daughter's case, the unsolved murder of Rosie Tapia. I'm pleased to report that they're very serious on the case and working hard to get justice for Rosie.
All right, so that's the private eye, Jason Jensen, that just did I say the last name wrong? No, Jason Jensen that just popped up. You guys say hi to him. He's been working this case as long as the case has been worked for the last 3 decades, and he's doing it pro bono. So shout out to you. We were just talking all good about you, of course, right? I didn't just start. It's okay. I started an hour ago, but we've still got some time to go. So thank you for being here, Jason. I talked to Lewine yesterday. She told me she was going to meet with you or talk to you today. So I'm so glad that there's an update today of all days that I chose to do this case. I'm so glad. And yeah, good job. Much love to you. Big hugs. We're all family here. So we're all virtual family, right? Not the real, but this is actually my family that this case came from. Yeah. My mom says, hi, Jason, and thank you. And all of us, thank you. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it. Jennifer B., good to see you. All right, now we're going to get into murders living among us. Who killed Rosie Tapia? All right, this is a good one. It's going to introduce you to the family and show you lots about her. We'll be able to see more pictures of her, etc. What our goal is to get the word out there so more people can see this case. And if you have any tips, any leads, even the smallest, please call law enforcement. Jason says we're optimistic, and so are we. So are we. So thank you. All right, listen up here.
The cutest laugh, prettiest smile. She just had a cute personality. And she was my
Now that is Amelia Elizondo, Rosie's sister.
sister. She was my bratty sister that I picked on.
I don't know really what could have happened. Who could have wanted to do something like that, you know, come in to apartment complex and come through the window and snap.
And it was an apartment complex. A lot of times, guys, we don't feel like that's going to happen, right? In an apartment complex. You're like, they're not going to go and bother to do that. But in my opinion, they knew who she was. Normally, it's a bigger chance that somebody knows the family when a crime is committed versus not. Now, this was $30,000 years ago, right? Now, 801-799 info, if you have information, that should probably still be good, but the reward is now $100,000, guys.
Had to get up.
It wasn't until the medical examiner looked at her did they realize that she was brutally sexually abused.
Oh, really?
How could they be so cruel to do that to a young kid, than to do what they did to her? And go, how could somebody be like that?
Again, there's her mom. Her sister just came. I didn't know Rosie had a brother, that they're twins. But thank you, anybody that's in chat here, that's family, that knows the case, anybody that I asked to come here today. Thank you. And thank you, guys. And we want to get this out there. Right? That's what we're doing today, spreading
Rosie
awareness.
Tapia, another victim in a wave of unsolved crime stories. Few clues to follow, families left shattered and broken, and communities knowing only that we have murderers living among us.
It was a child abduction from her window from in the middle of the night with parents home.
The Salt Lake police say someone kidnapped 6-year-old Rosie Tapia from the bedroom of this apartment in West Valley City on August 12, 1995.
That's a rarity and a parent's worst nightmare.
I know, right?
After more than 20 years, her family still questions how it happened and if they could have somehow prevented it.
What did I do wrong? What didn't I pay attention to? Why, when I was watching her, you know, did I walk by the person that was planning this, you know?
I
Why
know.
was it?
I
Why
know.
didn't I stay awake? Why didn't I stay awake? Why didn't I leave the TV on? Because it seemed like as soon as we turned the TV on, that's when they strike, you know, as soon as they knew we were all going to sleep. Why can't I just fall asleep? Why didn't I just go lay in the bed with them? There's a lot of things that I should have did, you know? Maybe I should have let her sleep out in the living room with me.
I mean, imagine racking your brains for 30 years. I don't think there's anything that they could have done. Now, hindsight is 2020, but back then, it's hot. When it's hot, you leave your windows open. I mean, I remember growing up in down south when Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was out there night stalking and coming in through people's window in the dead heat in LA, and we couldn't leave our windows open after that. But before that, we never thought about it. Yeah, sounds like possible stalking. Those kids, they were thought to be 16 and 17 years old who did this to Rosie.
Would have been here, you know? I should have just had like a little sleepover in the living room. Why did I, you know?
Her family frantically searched for little Rosie and put out posters, but a jogger found her body later in the day next to the Jordan Canal.
Rosie Tapia's sister and family never believed her drowning was accidental. Her mother discovered Rosie missing just before 6 a.m. Sunday, the window of her bedroom open, screen removed. Now autopsy results reveal Rosie was probably sexually assaulted before drowning in the Jordan River Canal, where her body was discovered by a jogger.
We knew that Rosie wouldn't just climb out of the window at that late at night and just leave and go throw herself in the river, because we know she wouldn't do that.
The Salt Lake police searched the river and the neighborhood, questioned the family and several other suspects, but never found out who abducted, raped, and killed her. Her death shocked the Salt Lake community.
I want this guy.
And when I first started looking into this case, I didn't realize that she had been SA'd, guys. But I guess that's a big motivator. Many times that happens with little girls, especially when someone kidnaps them, their motive is usually right of that kind of nature. So man, this is just all right, let's keep going.
Caught because I'm scared that it might happen to my son or my daughter or my other son.
Hey, Rebecca.
Year after year, the family held vigils commemorating Rosie's death as police followed up on new leads.
Now with additional evidence that we've come up with, I think we're going to be doing some more of that, contacting other witnesses, doing some more background investigation on this whole thing, and looking at what evidence we have now closer.
But year after year, they came no closer to solving the case.
That gets in those little porous surfaces, like what's on the Barbie and her clothing and her.
There's the Barbie for you, Synth. Are you still here? There's that freaking Barbie that he's got gloves on, and that's Jason right there, the private eye that we just saw coming out of law enforcement office. All right, yeah, there you go. Jason, you're nothing short of absolutely amazing, sticking with the family all these years, dedication and pro bono. That's awesome. Again, some of the best people that work on cases or work on whatever they're doing that have a passion for it and are not focused on the money, those are the best ones. Money will come.
Hair, and it gets into those surfaces and it pulls out into those porous surfaces the DNA of whoever, may have been touching that clothing.
Recently, investigators began re-examining a Barbie doll someone left at Rosie's grave a few weeks after her funeral. Rosie's mother still grieves for the loss of her beautiful little girl and the tragic way someone ended her life.
I wanted to see my daughter, and they wouldn't let me see her. I had to wait 3 days to see her.
Damn.
And when I checked her body, I wanted to hold her, and they wouldn't let me pick her up. But I knew that she suffered, but I didn't know exactly the type of injuries she had until I read the medical report and more.
Yeah, that sucks having to swirl around. Synth, I think you weren't listening earlier. It was a special edition Barbie doll. Go back to it. It wasn't just a typical one. So we just went over that a minute ago.
I read it. It just broke my heart that she had to suffer the way she did. And why would anybody want to hurt a little girl like that? I just can't understand that.
The family cannot
Sickos.
let go until they find out who did it, and they feel that the police and the national news media failed them.
No, it
The one
wasn't
that sticks
hers.
out in my mind the most is how bad the police did here versus Colorado with John Benet Ramsey. That happened shortly after what happened with Rosie.
That's crazy, and I wonder why John Benet Ramsey got such media attention. Well, I know why. I'm just saying, but you guys understand. I mean, she was a little beauty queen, right? It was good for the media. Jason says, and it was used so it had belonged to somebody. So that Barbie doll was not Rosie's. That was a random Barbie doll. Jason says it was used, so it had belonged to someone. And when we just looked at it, it was like some special edition Barbie doll made in 1994. That's how they can narrow in on who purchased that doll, right? Along with any DNA evidence. We saw you, Jason, holding out the bag with the Barbie, right? So it was somebody else had used that doll, and then they put it on her grave.
You know, and it just seemed like that got national, you know, out there nationally.
I truly believe that, status will kind of keep you in the media's eye.
I mean, we even tried to get Rosie's case put
Oh,
on.
wow.
Was unsolved.
So somebody chewed on the feet, guys, of the Barbie doll, which means what? We're in 2025 now. Somebody chewed on the feet. DNA evidence now in 2025 is really, really good with a little bit of somebody chewing on the feet, getting some spit, and then putting it into the database. You take that, put it in the database, and find somebody from 123andMe or something, and you match it like the Golden State Killer. That's how we found the Golden State Killer. All right, so good hope there.
All mysteries, and the other one with America's Most Wanted. We tried getting Rosie, and they denied it.
Yep.
Because they said there wasn't enough facts there. And I don't know how much more facts you need there. You know, there's still a killer out there.
But now, almost 24 years later, the Tapia family has new hope. A crew from Discovery produced a documentary on Rosie, and new DNA evidence could bring more clues.
Just how committed is your team to solving this case?
The bottom line is it's a 6-year-old that was taken from her apartment and murdered. Everyone is committed to this case.
The family hopes that media and publicity will push the story of Rosie's tragic murder back into the light and possibly bring some tip, clue, or evidence that can help them find closure.
That's a big family there. Lots of love. You can see the love in the family in these documentaries and the news clips, which is nothing short of what my family looks like also, right? I got family everywhere. You go to LA area or Colorado and there's always a lot of people, all right? Big family. Yeah. Jenia, is it Jenia? Dennis, my daughter always chewed on her Barbies. Yeah, children do. Well, somebody had touched it. Even somebody put it at her grave. So I don't know how random it could be.
Rosie's family got together at Lewine's house and sat around her TV to watch Paula Zahn retell the worst nightmare of their lives.
If anything can come out of this documentary is that if we could get a clue, anything, if anybody's heard anything or saw anything, even though it's been as long as it has, I mean, people remember things for some reason, something, deja vu, whatever, if they can call the local police, you know.
The hour-long documentary outlined the details of Rosie's kidnapping, rape, and murder, and brought
man.
new information about DNA and additional suspects that the family had never heard before, leaving them hopeful but cautious.
If we get a good amount of calls, then I'll be happy. But if nothing comes up, then I'm going to be sad. Because it took a lot of effort to get this done.
I'll tell you right now, if they ever do find those people or persons, I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, I and Jason and the family would probably say these people probably knew those people, or those possibly 16, 17-year-olds lived in that apartment complex and coveted that little girl, Rosie. I guarantee you they did. Just how cases work, it's usually somebody close to the family that covets somebody else and knew exactly how to get into the window, what time to get into the window, and everything. They knew. I mean, look at that giant family. When you have a big family like that, you have kids and then friends parents, etc. So I'm telling you, that's what I'm thinking. All right, Lady for Justice, thank you so much. And Mama Sage, towards our goal. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's keep going.
Programs like this one have increased in popularity in recent years.
Killed? There's no wrong. You do it.
Fox News recently released a docudrama on murderer Charles Manson.
I want you to forget everything you think you know about that night, because I know the facts better than anyone.
And a made-for-movie about the O.J. Simpson murder trial. FX also did a season-long series about O.J., and Netflix just released a 4-part series on serial killer Ted Bundy.
He didn't look like anybody's notion of somebody who would tear apart young girls.
Yep.
That's Ted Bundy.
I've never spoken to anybody about this.
I think we're seeing almost an explosion of true crime as a genre, where people are consuming these stories not just for the informational value, but also as entertainment.
Investigative reporter.
Not us. We don't watch true crime, right? Only once a month. Yeah, partners in crime, Leonard Lake and Charles Ng. Oh my God, that case is evil. That's evil. I don't even know if I could present that case on YouTube, but you guys understand what's happening here. And over the 3 decades, this is what's happening over the decades.
Dave Cawley hosts a podcast called Cold each week, where he explores the details surrounding the Susan Powell case, another unsolved Utah murder.
In this particular case, you have a mystery that's not been answered and not been solved. You have a woman who disappeared under suspicious circumstances, whose body has never been found. You have a man suspected of killing her husband, who was never charged with a crime and was never brought to court to answer for that crime in front of a jury. And it speaks to a breakdown of the system of justice. And so I think part of the intrigue or interest in telling a story like this is understanding, why did the system fail?
Cawley thinks people want to watch and listen to unsolved crime stories to find out how the system failed, but also thinks it can help bring people to justice.
You know, technology changes, and
I normally don't do cold cases, right? My channel is called Guilty of Crime, because normally we know who did it and we wrap it all up, or we follow until someone got arrested. But today, guys, thank you, Rose, for the gifted membership. You guys, please thank Rose. Man, yeah, this just is, yeah, true crime junkie. But thank you guys definitely for being here today. It's an important episode, one that you saw some of the family coming in and out of the chat, and Jason, he worked hard today and he still made it in here. All right, still made it in here to stop by and give us a little info.
The tools available to investigators at the time crimes are committed sometimes are outdated by the time somebody comes back later. We've seen that with DNA evidence, we've seen that with computer forensic evidence, and sometimes it's a fresh set of eyes, right? Somebody who comes to a case, a story, with no preconceived notions about it. They might view evidence differently. They might have avenues to speak to witnesses who otherwise wouldn't have spoken before. So yeah, absolutely. I believe it's very important to keep these stories going.
But Cawley admits it can be a two-edged sword. New information can help the police and the families of the victims, but it can also keep the pain and the sadness alive.
I think a lot of people who go through something so traumatic as losing a loved one to murder, they might not want to have that experience spread out, publicly for people to consume as entertainment. Understand that. On the other hand, in my particular instance, I've had members of the immediate family who have expressed gratitude for keeping the story in the public consciousness and sharing.
Yeah, that's pretty typical, guys. I gotta say, and I saw some people in chat talking about why or what, and said money. But the best people that do this, in my opinion, the best content creators that I see, the best newscasters are the ones that have a passion for what they do. Everything will come. You guys, that's what people have to understand. You do what you love, and you help people, you help those that you love, and everything else falls into place. I mean, look at Jason Jensen, been doing this pro bono for 30 years. What is the motivator for that? It sure isn't money. But you guys think about that. Think about that. And for those of you that know, all right, the most passionate people, one of them I think is Nate Eaton. Some people don't like Nate, but I do. I think his passion drives him to cover these stories.
Those details, because I think it can be difficult for them to hold out hope years and possibly decades later when it seems like nobody's paying attention to the story anymore.
The Utah legislature passed a bill called Rosie's Law that requires law enforcement agencies in the state to share information about unsolved murder cases.
It will include all unsolved murders and disappearances more than 3 years old, which is the statutory definition of a cold case.
The families of dozens of victims of unsolved murders stood in front of the news media press conference, putting a face to the empty lives left behind the murderers who live among us.
Typically, a number of cases kind of maybe fall through the cracks in terms of things like rewards being made available. For the first time ever, rewards are now being offered in every single one of Utah's cold cases. There are more than 200 of them. The base award at this point for information that leads to a conviction or a conviction in our minds that the case has been solved is $3,000.
After more than 40 years, new DNA evidence helped police in California catch the Golden State Killer, a man who murdered more.
There you go. That's what we were talking about earlier, folks. The Golden State Killer. That was the first case documented that was able to capture this monster that went up and down California brutally, taking people's lives and raping them, right? By DNA evidence, right? And again, look at Brian Koberger. Same thing. That DNA 123andMe or one of those DNA sites connected to his dad, and then we find Brian Koberger. That is not out of the realm of possibility. Pleasure to be here to support you and the family. Sending you prayers, justice for Rosie. Have a good evening. Happy Friday. All right. Yeah, dedication.
More than 12 people.
The Golden State Killer who terrorized California for decades. Investigators say they tracked him down using DNA and in a genealogy website.
There remains to this day, from what I can understand, at least a partial DNA sample, something, you don't know whether it was in her fingernails, if it was like mitochondrial, whatever the case may be, semen, but there's something there, but it was compromised by the water. Your evidence usually goes away. So it was just a really emotional setting because there was.
And you know what's funny, Jason, about the Golden State Killer being a former police officer? When they profiled the Golden State Killer, they absolutely said that he possibly could be in law enforcement, and not just because of the way the crimes were done, but because of the way he moved around, his ability to move around and stay out of the spotlight, so to speak. But they did profile him, and he was a former police officer, which I suspect that's why he got away even longer.
You know, first it was the frantic search and the hope that she'd be found, that she maybe just wandered away or taken off with someone. And then, of course, the thud of, no, this is not going to have a happy ending.
Investigators in Utah think new technology and help from the public could also bring closure to these families.
Several cold and old cases from the Salt Lake Valley region.
Sorensen Forensics recently helped police find a suspect involved in a decades-old murder case. DNA was found beneath Anna Palmer's fingernails, just like Rosie.
He didn't say exactly how many fingernails he had, but he said that it wasn't very good because when she was thrown in the water.
It's not impossible. DNA is a very robust molecule and it sticks around for a long time.
I know exactly what all of these people are feeling and the hope that they have that their loved one will be reunited with them. And just anything that we can do, and like I said, we're all a nonprofit, anything we can do is much appreciated. And for the public, if they know of anything, please come forward with any information for these people.
After more than 23 years of wondering, Rosie Tapia's family still holds out hope that one day the person who did this will face justice and atone for the damage done to their family.
She's so cute, guys. I can't even stand it. Look at that every picture that we've seen her in thus far, she's got a smile on her face and those big, bright eyes, man. Thank you, Jennifer B. She says, choo choo. Mai Tai, creepy. All right, guys, let's get this going. Let's hit that like button. We got 154 people in here on a cold case night, and I appreciate you so much for helping to get this out there. We might be closer than you guys think to this case. They might be closer to solving this, but I say we because we want to spread awareness. But don't go anywhere. I'm going to show you that Barbie doll, that eerie Barbie doll that everyone's talking about.
My girls.
They are.
Rosie was in between my girls. So when she passed, it affected my kids. I mean, my son, my 2 daughters, I mean, they would not sleep in their room for 2 years.
Did you see her name, Mom? Was it Ramona? And I was thinking of Romy as well, because Romy is tied to this too, right, Mom? All right, let's keep going. The names are very familiar and
They
similar.
were scared, and they're still scared. I mean, they live in an apartment building. They live on the 3rd floor because they won't live below. Even with my grandkids, I worry about them because they live in a complex, and I'm like, you know, don't let them play outside. Don't let them do anything, you know. You be out there with them and whatnot, you know.
These things can happen no matter where you live. These things happen, and you have to be, you know, as vigilant as you can.
That had to have been someone that coveted her, went to the house, knew the room layout, knew their schedule. I just cannot imagine it being somebody that would just be so bold, especially a 16 or 17-year-old that didn't know the layout and the family and the inner workings. That's a big family. I mean, I would never walk into something like that and expect there not to be somebody awake, other children. That's a big family. I'm telling you. They're hiding in plain sight. I bet you.
You just don't trust people.
That sucks. You don't, but it sucks feeling that way. Damn, man. Yeah, shout out to all of these people here that put this together. Special thanks to Tapia family. There's Jason Jensen's name, Utah Cold Case Coalition, right? Just to name a few. They did a great job putting this together. All right, guys, we're going to take a look at that Barbie doll that could lead to a person, a suspect in this case. All right, Foxy, you're a member for 13 months and an awesome mod. What's up, crew? Today through Sunday, free Foxy box with any $40 purchase on guiltyofcrime.com. Use code Foxy bonus. I'll leave that up there while we take a look at this. All right, that Barbie doll that may solve the case. And why is it so special? What's so special about it? Let's see. All right, let's take this down and get that up. I got a lot of screens going on today. All right, let's take a look at that Barbie doll that's in a plastic bag.
They look like your average Barbie doll, but the Utah Cold Case Coalition says it may be the clue they've been looking for to crack a 23-year-old cold case.
Now
So I'm
30.
hoping the Lord will let me live until we find the person who took my daughter.
Rosie Tapia was
hugs.
6 years old when she was kidnapped from this Salt Lake City apartment and sexually assaulted back
Damn,
in August
man.
of 1995. Her body was found several hours later in a canal off the Jordan River.
A few days after Rosie's passing, there was items that were left on her gravesite. So I just gathered them up and took them home.
One of those items was a Barbie doll. Coalition members say they have reasons to believe this may be a valuable clue, but did not share what those were.
It's a Sweethearts Barbie that was manufactured in 1994.
They did say that 2 possible persons of interest have been identified who had some fixation.
Look at that. You can see the feet being chewed right there. And again, somebody they know. Yeah, mother's worst nightmare. Lewine has been there from day one. We can see that, right? You guys do me a favor. We're almost out of here. Hit that like button and then share this episode with one of your closest friends and your social media. Just throw that link on your Facebook, throw it on your Instagram. Throw it up there, guys. Send it to your friend that likes to watch true crime so we can have one more eye on this case. And I do pray that justice is served before Lewine's life is gone, because that happens too many times. All right. And thanks. Yeah, thank you. Tiff shared that everywhere. Lena, we don't need any mods right now, but thank you. My mods would be mad if I added another one at this point. But thank you for being here. All right, let's take a look.
Some fixation with Barbies. And Francine Bardol with West Jordan Police says they are using a new cutting-edge DNA extraction method on the doll.
In this buffer solution are the skin cells
from those who have touched the evidence.
But coalition members say DNA analysis is expensive for the nonprofit and are asking for the public's help.
If somebody will come forward and say, I know who left that there, or I left that there, and we may be able to confirm that, and that might save those resources.
Lewine says she's happy people are willing to help, but is not putting too much hope into this lead just yet.
It gets harder every year because I still don't have no answers. I just don't want to leave this world without knowing who took her and why they took her.
If you have any information on this case, you are urged to contact the Utah Cold Case Coalition at 385-CLUE. In Salt Lake City, Amanda Gary, Fox 13 News.
All right. Awesome. I think that you guys helped so much to get this episode out today, and your interaction and what you're sharing here today. The people that came in chat, thank you. To the family members that came in here, thank you. Jason that came in here. Mai Tai says, did the Night Stalker act? Yes, he did. No, he absolutely attacked randomly. It was an opportunity. If a window was open, he was coming in. He didn't know the victims. He didn't care who the victims were whatsoever. That was a bit different. That's a bit different of a case. We're talking about a serial person here. But in this case, guys, that's much different than somebody like that, right? So this case, 30 years old, still unsolved. This little girl was taken from her window at night, and in between the night and the morning, sometime between 2 a.m. and 5:45 a.m., taken right out, snatched from her room. Her sister was right there in the room, cut the screen, left the curtains on the floor, I believe they said. And there have you. 30 years has passed, guys, and we still are looking. I'm presenting the case. We just saw Jason in here, actively doing this, still running this case, still looking for leads. Thank you, Rose. I appreciate you. But remember, DNA has come a long way. So let's hope that these people, the first sketch and the second sketch, that somebody can identify, or DNA can identify these people. Under the Mystic Moon, absolutely. Nancy Jean, thanks for helping get this story out. I hadn't heard of this. Well, you're very welcome. This is a cold case in my family. My aunt brought this to me a couple weeks ago, and then I reached out to Lewine, and there you have it. All right. And Jason, we all appreciate you. We live for finding the people that did these awful crimes. So thank you for being that person that's out there doing that for the family, Jason. We really do appreciate you. Rebecca, have a good night. Happy Friday. Tiff, justice for Rosie and her family. Clark, big hug to you. Please watch this episode, like, share it, and you're already subscribed, my friend. Love you too. All right, guys, let's get the momentum out there. Again, this case reminds me of Polly Klaas, which was solved. She was in her room having a sleepover. Who has the balls to go in when someone's having a sleepover and snatch a little girl? The only problem is, in this case, Polly Klaas' case got solved and Rosie's didn't. All right, so yes, much love to everybody. Back to that, and then the family picture that they hope to see justice. All right, Mai Tai, thank you. All right, everybody else, love you. You guys have a wonderful night. Don't worry, next week we'll be back on Monday doing what we do here, giving away memberships and merchandise, I'm sure. So thank you all. Appreciate you. Love you. Have a good weekend and happy Friday. Mwah. Prayers. Thank you. Love you all. Bye.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?